Well, I said I wouldn't start doomsaying until I saw something to doomsay about. Hello Crows, today we're talking about some new insights into the potential Wizarding World online MMO RPG, maybe, kinda, I don't, we'll get to it. This latest clue is coming from friend and emotional support Hufflepuff, James from Expecto Go. This clue is a latest hire from Avalanche who has working on an online RPG in her bio. But right next to it, it says mobile, PC, and console. Now, let me ask you a question. What if, after all this time hoping for a fully fledged MMO, you were told that the Wizarding World Online game was actually a mobile title? That is what was racing through my head the moment I saw this clue. I think we're going to be okay though, mostly. However, I won't deny that I had a very strong reaction to this new information. I haven't seen anything from James about this yet. I want his reaction to be his and mine to be mine, but if I had to take a guess, James from Expecto Go is generally pretty positive. In fact, whenever there is new information, James is very Hufflepuff about it, and I'm pretty Ravenclaw about it about 50% of the time, so it kind of works out for us. And if you don't know Expecto Go, they are essentially the unofficial Hogwarts Legacy community manager, or perhaps a community champions, I should say. James covers practically everything Wizarding World gaming, and he and his wife Sue got their start with the Wizards Unite mobile game, which is how they built their community, and they had a lot of fun with it. Which is why I think James will have a very positive reaction to this mobile news. My reaction, on the other hand, was more along the lines of,
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
yeah, if this is a straight up mobile game, then the chances of me playing it long term or even playing it at all is slim to none. But it's not like I'm against it purely on the basis of it being a mobile game. I don't hate mobile games. In fact, I'm actively developing one. It's just not my cup of tea personally. I get why we have them. There's a massive market for mobile games, which is my reason. If I can make a few mobile games to make some amount of money, that would help me with the projects I'm really excited for. Wins all around. But I'm also not sitting around playing Candy Crush, so there's also a historical component to consider, and a bit of a gamble. Wizards Unite was popular as proven by Expecto Go's community, but that didn't stop it from getting shut down. It had players in the millions, but it still got shut down. Then Magic Awaken became a thing, which was also vastly popular, but it would also be shut down. So there's multiple components on my plate of worry. First off, if this is another what if we turned Hogwarts Mystery into an online game style of project, I'm probably going to play it for about 2 weeks and then leave it. I just don't play mobile games. Nothing against them, they just don't scratch my itch. Secondly, the bar for success of a mobile game of that style is so high that I'm afraid it's gonna go the way of Wizards Unite and Magic Awakened. That's the gamble component I'm talking about. And when that fallout inevitably happens, who is going to clean up the mess? Who is going to take care of that? It's not going to be Warner Brothers. It's going to be Avalanche. It's going to be someone from their leadership team walking into a conference room full of developers and going, hey, I'm really sorry this didn't work out, but you don't have a job tomorrow. I don't want that to happen. That's the last thing anybody here wants to happen. But despite that, for some reason, we keep making those kinds of decisions that lead us into those conclusions. Einstein has a definition about insanity. I recommend you look it up. And lastly, the community. If this mobile game doesn't work out, then that would be 3 times we've been burned. The leadership of this project has to take into account that some of the most reliable customers and, dare I say, nearly religious players of this kind of content already have a bad relationship with Warner Brothers. When it comes to these types of games, they're not only going to have to make an online mobile game that really knocks our socks off, but also reassure them that this time it's different. This time the money and the time they invest won't be wasted. This time, third time's the charm. Otherwise, this game is going to have a very steep hill to climb. But enough doomsaying. What is the hope I talked about earlier. Maybe we can still hold out hope that this is an MMO experience, a true MMO. But Joe, how can that be? Can an MMO and a mobile game be the same thing? Well, of course it can. Final Fantasy XIV, a complete MMO with all the bells, whistles, and side salad, also has a mobile version. Old school RuneScape is also a good example of this. And there's also plenty of mobile RPGs out there that have made some passing success. Even a few that were not PC or console based prior to, but those last few are very, very slim. A consistent theme across many of the ones that are successful was that they started either on PC or console and then ventured into the mobile versions. They were designed to be MMOs and then started working on how to translate that into mobile. That is the format that has proven to work. Final Fantasy XIV, for example, started on PC, then it moved to console, and then years later, we now have a mobile version. So that's what I'm hoping the plan is. PC, console, and then mobile. That is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly sensible, in my opinion. Another hope is that we're misinterpreting the bio altogether, and this dev has been brought on to strategize purely on the monetization models and the like. And to her credit, she has a good history behind monetization. I haven't found anything that would be considered predatory in her methods, and any major complaints about monetization in the projects she's worked on occurred after she left those projects. So I'm not concerned about that front. I'm just concerned about what the game actually is, because I think we can no longer really say for certain that this is an MMO. As I've said before, the vernacular of this game has changed a lot since we last saw the term MMO. It's really up for debate now, and I think that's where I'm going to leave the topic. I have many more hopes and concerns for this project, but it is what it is. This script could go on forever, but I ain't got that kind of time. And I don't want to be standing here being a negative Nancy. When we have more concrete information to go on, we'll talk about it here. Until then though, be safe, be well, be kind. Bye-bye.